For the longest time, workplace safety meant one thing, right? Keeping people safe inside the office. But what happens when the office is, well, everywhere? I mean, our kitchens, our living rooms, the whole idea of a safe workspace has been totally turned on its head. So let's get into the new rules for this new world.
And it's a massive shift, you know? We've basically swapped the predictable, super-controlled office for the, let's be honest, often chaotic world of our own homes. Just think about it for a second. How can a one-size-fits-all safety plan possibly work when every single office is completely different?
So yeah, when your commute is literally 10 steps from your bed to your desk, what does safe at work even mean these days? It's not just about, not tripping over a power cord. It's way bigger. It's about completely rethinking what we mean by employee well-being.
I mean, think back to the old days of office safety. Remember that? Fire drills, somebody coming around to check your chair height. There were clear rules for everything. It was super predictable, kind of one size fits all because, well, we all worked in the exact same building.
But now, oh man, the lines have gotten so blurry. Is that laptop charger you always seem to trip over a legit workplace hazard? What about that crick in your neck from staring down at your screen all day? Is that a long-term health risk? And the answer we're getting more and more is a resounding yes.
And that leads us right into the hidden dangers of the home office. Because, it's not the obvious stuff, like a wet floor, that's the biggest threat anymore. Nope. It's the subtle, almost invisible strains that just build up day after day.
And what's really fascinating here is how all these new hazards are connected. They're not in their own little boxes. For example, a bad ergonomic setup can lead to chronic pain, right? And that pain can totally fuel mental burnout. Then you add in feeling isolated, and suddenly it's way harder to ask for help.
And when we talk about ergonomics, it's so much more than just having a comfy chair. It's about your entire workspace being set up to actually support your body. Like, is your monitor at eye level? Are your wrists straight when you're typing? These seem like tiny things, but they can make a massive difference for your health down the road.
This quote really nails a huge shift in how we have to think about workplace safety. Mental health support, it's not just a nice-to-have perk anymore. Not even close. In this new world of remote work, it's an absolutely essential tool. It's how we prevent burnout and fight back against that real risk of isolation.
Okay, but physical and mental health are just part of the puzzle. There's this other piece, one that gets overlooked a lot, and that's cybersecurity. Yep, you heard that right. Your home Wi-Fi network, it's now a critical piece of your company's entire infrastructure.
Just stop and think about that. Every sensitive company document, every confidential email, it's all flowing through the same home network you use to stream shows and your kids use for gaming. This opens up a giant new doorway for cybercriminals. They can use these less secure networks to launch phishing attacks, steal company data, you name it.
So you might be thinking, why does my company care about my home Wi-Fi? Well, it all boils down to this concept called EHS. That's Environment, Health, and Safety. It's basically the legal and ethical rulebook that spells out a company's duty to protect its employees.
And this is the key point, really. In today's remote world, protecting you from a cyber attack is now seen as just as important as protecting you from a physical injury. Because let's face it, a data breach can be devastating for your mental and financial well-being. That makes it a serious health and safety issue, period.
All right, so with all these new risks on the table, how can a company possibly keep its remote employees safe? Well, the answer is a whole new approach, the virtual safety audit. I mean, obviously, it's not like a safety manager can go and visit every single employee's house. That's just not going to happen. So companies are turning to virtual solutions, things that can scale, that are collaborative, and that actually empower employees to take an active role in their own safety. So, what does one of these virtual safety audits actually look like? It's usually a pretty simple three-step thing. First, you'll probably get a self-assessment checklist. You just go through your own workspace, checking for trip hazards, making sure your monitor's at the right height, that kind of stuff. Then, you might hop on a guided video call with a safety pro to walk them through your setup and talk about any concerns. And the final step, and this is super important, it's not about getting in trouble. It's all about working together on a plan to fix any problems. Maybe the company sends you a better chair, or maybe they help you secure your Wi-Fi.
So what's the big takeaway here? The bottom line is that the whole remote work revolution has forced us to completely tear up the old definition of safe at work. It's not about a place anymore. It's about a whole-person approach to well-being.
And that really is the new reality. Workplace safety isn't about the place anymore. It's about the person. A safe work environment isn't some building you go to.
It's more like a bubble of protection that follows you home, to the coffee shop, wherever you're working.
So what can you do to stay safe and healthy in all this? It really comes down to having the right tools in your personal toolkit. So be aware of your ergonomics, really prioritize your mental health, practice good digital security habits, and maybe most importantly, don't ever be afraid to speak up if you need support.
And as our work and home lives keep mashing together, it leaves us with this one big question, right? Where does the company's responsibility end, and where does our own personal responsibility begin? That's a tricky one, and it's a question we're all going to be figuring out for a long, long time.